So remember that what we're going to be doing here is we're trying to solve for the value of x. We want to know what x equals. Now, since we actually have an equal sign, we know that we can actually come up with a solution. Now, before, when we were doing problems that looked like this, there was really no solution. All we could really do was simplify the expression, down to 10x minus 17. That's all we could really do on a problem like that. Okay, but whenever we have an equal sign, we know that we can come up with an answer that will allow us to come up with we can find an answer that will allow us to solve for that variable. So let's take a look at how we're going to do this. Okay, we got people still coming in. Let's get everyone in here. So I'm going to decide, I have to decide which side I want all the variables on. So I'm just going to choose to put them all on this side. One moment, please. So first, I'm going to get rid of this 3x over here by adding. And when I add, I get 8x minus 5 equals, and these two cross out because 3x minus 3 is going to give me 0. Now, again, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to say, what's out of place here? Because all I want is x on one side and a number on the other. Well, I've got a number over here, and then I've got a variable term and a number term. So this number term needs to get the heck out of there, because all it's doing right now is getting in the way of me finding the final answer for x. These two cancel out. I get 8x equals 40. Now remember, this is multiplication. Since it's multiplication, I'm going to use division to unwork it. So I'm going to divide by the number in front of the variable, or the coefficient, and I find out that x equals 5. Not sure? Well, then plug it in back up here. 25 minus 5 is going to be 20, and negative 3 times 5 is going to be negative 15. If I combine negative 15 and positive 35, I get 20. 20 equals 20. That means that value for x is the right answer. Okay? Questions on that one that I just did, please? Make sense? It should make sense, actually, because we've been working on this for a while. So we're just kind of bringing all of it together into one piece. Okay? So hopefully you can see how all these pieces that we've been working on for the last 2 to 3 weeks all kind of come together into showing us how to solve this multi-step equation. So let's look at another one. Oh, we're going to do a ton, Juliana. Don't worry. Thank you for asking, though. Don't worry. Never going to cut you loose when we're not ready to go. Don't worry. So again, I'm just going to, if you want, you could just decide that you're always going to put the variables on the left-hand side. And it's fine. You can do that. Everyone has their own way of how they like to think about how this stuff works. And sometimes it helps just to have, sometimes it just helps to have some kind of a pattern like that you just like to follow. So I'm going to keep pushing all the variables over to this side. So any variable that's over on this side, I want to get rid of. Well, how do I get rid of a positive 8x? I'm going to subtract 8x. Good golly, Miss Molly. So if I subtract 8x over there, I have to subtract 8x over here. So now I'm going to have 2x plus 5 equals, and these two cancel out, right? And then I just get 15. Well, now it looks like a normal two-step equation that we've done about 5 zillion of, right? So now it's not that hard anymore. Now we just have to say, oh, well, I know what that looks right. I know what that looks like. So again, I've got a number here and I've got a variable and a number over here. Well, so this number is now in my way. So I need to get rid of it. How do I get rid of a positive 5? I subtract 5. Now I get 2x equals 10. Wow, that came out even again. That was not on purpose that time. I just kind of threw some numbers up and got lucky. I love it when that happens. Now I have multiplication. I unwork multiplication through the process of division. These cancel out, and wow, x equals 5 again. Okay, well, that's weird. I really didn't do that on purpose. It just kind of happened. If I plug 5 back in up here and up here, 10 times 5 is 50, plus 5 is 55. 10 times 5 is 40, plus 15 is 55. So when I take this value and I plug it back into the original equation, it should give me an answer like 55 equals 55. If it doesn't, you got the wrong answer. It's as simple as that. Okay, so if I get like 55 equals 65, I didn't get the right answer and I should rework the problem. All right. Okay, now, sometimes we're going to get problems that look like this. Now, again, this is an equation, which means we're going to be able to solve for the value of x. Now, first of all, we have to simplify this side because I can't do anything here yet, right? So I'm going to need to use my distributive property here to multiply, that is to distribute 7 throughout this. 7x minus 7 equals 4x minus 5. Now, if I look at this again and I say, okay, I'm going to move all my variables over to the left. How do I get rid of 4x? I'm going to subtract 4x. When I subtract 4x from 7x, I get 3x, right? I'll stop now and let you catch up. I think I was writing too fast for some of you, so I'll stop for a moment and let you get caught up. I saw a bunch of desperate faces looking at the screen and writing, looking at the screen and writing, going, I'm not going to keep up. So I'll give you a minute. Yeah, Andrew. Yeah, you're here. Okay. So now when I look at this again, I see a number on this side and I see a number and a variable on this side. So again, my number here is the one that's out of place. I need to get it out of there. How do I get rid of a negative 7? I add 7, right? So now I have 3x equals 2, because negative 5 and 7 make 2. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 3, because this is multiplication. I unwork it through division, and I get x equals 2/3. Questions on this material so far? Does this seem pretty straightforward based on what we've been doing for the last couple of weeks? Okay. Now, I want to remind you that we will not be meeting tomorrow. We will be doing async all day tomorrow. You will go to your 5th period class at the very beginning of school at 8:30. You will be doing the writing benchmark tomorrow, right? So the next time we meet for math class will be on Wednesday. So I have uploaded an assignment for you to work on over the next 2 days. Now there's 30 questions, but I only want you to do 15 of them for Wednesday. So I want you to do the odd numbered ones. I'm not done yet, Elijah, so I'll do a few more, don't worry. So you're going to do the odd numbered ones because that's in the assignment. Okay, so you're going to do basically 1, 3, 5 up to 30. Well, up to 29 actually, if we're going to be, honest about stuff. Okay. So let's do some of the easy ones or easier ones, and then we'll do some of the weirder ones again. Okay. So let's look at. So what are you going to do here, guys? Well, I look on this side and I see that I can combine some like terms over here, right? So I should simplify my work that way first. So I'll get 3x plus 1 equals 15 because 4 minus 3 is going to give me 1, right? And from here, I'm going to solve it. It's just simply a 2-step equation. Now, wait a minute, because I still see people scribbling like maniacs. So I don't want to frustrate you by going ahead of what you're doing. It's all right, Isaiah. Since I am recording this, I will be posting it on my YouTube channel. So if you need to come back and look at this later while you're working on it, you'll have this recording to check back to and see how I work through these, okay? I'm trying to remember to do it. I have to admit that I'm having difficulty remembering to do it. So feel free to prompt me and say, hey, Mr. Easy, don't forget you're supposed to record. And I'll do that, okay? It's all good. So now I've got a number on one side and I've got a number and a variable on the other side. Well, I need to get rid of this number. I get rid of it by subtracting its numbers. So I've got +1, I subtract 1. Now I have 3x equals 14. Now, since this is multiplication, I'm going to solve this through division, which is the opposite of multiplication. 3 over 3 is 1, so I can cancel it out. And I find that my answer for this one is going to be x equals 14/3. Now, if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure I do, the work that I gave you for tonight, all the answers are integers. So none of them are going to be these freaky fractions. So we're practicing on the harder stuff, but your answers for the homework are going to be a lot happier for you. All right. Sound like a good thing? I know you guys hate it when they come out ugly because then you're never sure you got them right. But let me go ahead and I'll just do one from homework here. Now, this can look ugly, but remember, we know how to do all the parts here. We have worked on all of this work. So remember what PEMDAS tells us, right? Penguins eat mostly dolphins and squid, right? Remember the PEMDAS thing? Don't forget, dolphins and squid. All right. So I'm always going to start with parentheses. I can't simplify what's inside the parentheses, so I'm going to need to use the distributive property. So I'm just going to bring these down because I'm not doing anything with them. 8 times 6, 48. 8 times a -6p is going to give me a -48p. Now, you decide what you're going to do to solve the rest of this. What do you want to do next? You figure it out. I'm going to give you a couple minutes, and then I'll work it out the way I want to work it out. Remember, there's no rule on how you work it out as long as the math is valid. That's the beauty of it. You can start with numbers, you can start with variables, whatever works for you. There's the next step I'm choosing. If you chose a different next step, it's fine as long as it's mathematically correct. There are at least 4 different ways that you can proceed on this problem. 3 different ones than what I did. Not quite, Sergio. You missed carrying a 1. Pretty close, though. So there's the remainder of the problem. What do you guys think? Does that make sense? Do you see how that works? Okay. So really easy in the sense that you're going to have 15 problems due on Wednesday. Okay. So that's not going to be really hard to do. You'll have time to work on it tomorrow. I think if you really knuckle in on this, it shouldn't take much more than half an hour to do those 15 problems. But it might take a little bit more, but you also have 2 days to work on it, right? And you have all of tomorrow's math class to work on it because you'll be doing asynchronous work. Okay. So it's okay if you get frustrated with this. If you get frustrated on the problem, just skip it and move to the next one. Okay. Questions at this point? I'm thinking at this point, I'm probably just going to set you loose to go work on these unless somebody has some overriding question. I want you to give these a shot, and then we'll come back together on Wednesday and talk about them some more. Questions? Leila? No? Okay. All right. So if you want some more help on it, you can stay. If you're like, nah, I'm good, you can go ahead and take off at this point. I'm going to stop the recording.